So today we're going to be making something from HADES, and I had a lot of really cool ideas of things I could build, but honestly they all sounded really difficult and I'm pretty lazy, so I scrapped all of them and I decided to make some coasters out of resin featuring the God Boon symbols. So what you see here is I'm cutting out some wooden discs that we're going to paint the God symbol on and then dip that in the resin. It was actually really hard to find any wood that was thin enough that it wouldn't be too big for the coaster mold. So we ended up going with this sort of like plywood, press wood sort of hybrid stuff that I really wouldn't recommend for anything else. It was honestly pretty bad quality, but since it's going in the resin, it doesn't really matter. So here we're making a stencil for the God symbols. We're going to make this on a cutting board and then transfer it over to the black discs that you saw us make just a minute ago. We didn't want to make it directly on the black discs because if we did, then when we cut them out, we'd leave little gouges that would get air bubbles in the resin. So you can see the downside here to our approach. Instead of putting the painter's tape directly onto the black discs, because we transferred it over, there are some issues where the painter's tape had layers that overlapped each other, and a little bit of the paint was able to seep in. But if we just go over it with some black paint, it's perfectly fine. So here we're making the resin for these projects, and what we were going to do is make some resin for each god and then mix a little bit of glitter of their color into it so that you could have the glitter in front of the symbol and kind of give it that little like enchanting nebula sort of effect that it has in the game. But this was a super time-consuming process, and it took us about 3 days working with this resin at about 30-minute increments. And I cut a lot of it out because it's really boring to just watch me twirl a stick in a little cup for 30 minutes. But you have to work really slowly, otherwise you'll get a lot of air bubbles introduced into the resin. So the next part is we're going to put some corkboard on the bottom of these coasters so they don't slide around when they're in use. If you guys like this project, go ahead and subscribe so that my sacrifice to the YouTube algorithm gods is a little bit less demanding this month. And if you come up with anything else you'd like to see me build, leave that in the comments down below. I'm Some Bad Engineer, and I'll see you next time.